My microphone's on, so it's official. Welcome to the workshop session. Anybody want to talk with the county commissioners about any topic, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address.
Good morning, my name's Corinne Tansky. I live at 1710 Dufton Lane in the Pines development. I'm here with my husband Doug Tansky, and others were not able to join us because of this short notice of this meeting. I'm here because we have been flooded again in less than 6 months with sewage water because of heavy rain. And because we have been told this is our financial responsibility, and because there's really not been any accountability from any county official or township official, we're being told different people who's responsible and whose issue it is. We're not getting any of those answers. Because of that, those of you who are also here could understand why we're seeking this additional help that we need. We're not experts, so we've had to seek outside counsel to support our homeowners. So between us, there's 30 to 40 different homeowners which are seeking assistance, counsel on our behalf, because we don't know, you don't know, no one else knows or has a definitive answers to what is occurring. So I do have a list of documents that we'll be requesting. I just wanted to formally let you guys know about that too, because we want that help to be able to get those public records so that we can get the answers that we know we need to do.
Yep.
Okay?
Great. If I may.
Yes.
And first, I apologize. I've been a commissioner for 14 months, and there's nothing I hate more than elected officials pointing fingers and saying it's not my problem, it's not my problem.
Right.
And I'm of the opinion that we should figure out whose problem it is and how we can help solve it. So let me give you my best understanding of the situation. The legal director for the county, one of our assistant prosecutors, is here to tell me if I lie or make a mistake, as is our director of utilities to tell me if I make a mistake in these statements. My understanding of the flooding problems can be twofold. One, I think we have some stormwater flooding. I believe you are not in the Lake Erie Shores development, correct? You
Correct.
are to the west of that. Problem we're having there is, as I understand, there's two systems. There's stormwater and there's sanitary. We talked about this a little bit in our commissioners meeting today. Those are two separate systems. The problem that I believe we are having is that the storm water is having overflow into the sanitary system. Stormwater drains, I assume, are much, much, much larger, Randy, correct? And built for just the flow out water. Sanitary, obviously, are different. They're smaller drains and smaller piping than a normal stormwater would be. And when that stormwater is flooding into the sanitary system, is I think when we're having some of our sanitary flooding issues, if you will. We have other folks that are just having flooding of their basements. There was another gentleman that I think we spoke with who has had flooding multiple times here. It's stormwater, it's standing water outside of his house. And there's multiple things that I think are leading into and causing some of those stormwater issues. Some of which are perhaps walkout basements that should not have been built, that is now allowing flood waters to leak into the house, into the system, into the sanitary system, which is overwhelming it. We talked about in the commissioners meeting that hypothetically, if you build a system for 500 houses and maybe you only have 350 or 400 houses there, you should be fine. But if you have a basement that's flooding from outside storm water into the sanitary system, it could have the same effect as maybe 100 houses into that sanitary system. And if you have folks whose sump pumps are unfortunately and incorrectly pumping into the sanitary system, and some residents may not even know that, that could have the effect of potentially 40 to 50 houses. So if we have 4 or 5 problems out of all those homes over there, you could have an extra 300 homes worth of flow going into the sanitary, and it wasn't built for that. And so we've started doing, also we have, and the gentleman pointed out that was here earlier, we have some homeowners and some landscaping that may not be what it was intended to do. I know that there's a creek in the Erie Shores area that I think land homeowners may have done grass right up to the edge and flattened it out. The gentleman that was here earlier pointed out that he believes, not him, but before he bought that house, a ditch was filled in. Well, that ditch is no longer holding the water, and he's having flooding issues, so maybe building a ditch would be something. So the Utilities Department has conducted a study on the sanitary system. Our Stormwater Department has conducted a study on the stormwater system to see if we have any structural issues or to try and give us an answer as to what's going wrong. More importantly, what can we do to fix it? As I understand it, the sanitary system is the responsibility of the county. The stormwater system is the responsibility of the township.
Right.
I am not saying that so that I can blame somebody else or
Right.
say it's somebody else's problem. I'm saying that the township and the county need to work together to come up with what's going wrong and what can we do to solve it. Some of the solutions that I've been told, what was the gentleman before, a shut-off valve or a gate valve, if you will. Backflow preventers, I don't think are doing it because the pressure won't work. A different type of valve being put in is probably a less expensive way. I'm being told that high wall plumbing in the basement, instead of putting the drains on the basement floor, put it 4 foot up on the basement wall, and this is going to alleviate a lot of those problems. I don't pretend to be an engineer, a plumber, or any of those things. All of those things come at a cost. And so it is virtually impossible for entities, whether it be the county or the township, to make these repairs and spend taxpayer dollars on somebody else's private property. But I think one of the solutions that we're going to try and identify, and I'm going to find out the details and how this works and push to do this, is the concept of what's called a CIC, a Community Improvement Corp, right? A funding mechanism so that we can provide loans as low interest as possible, as spread out as possible, so that homeowners can say, all right, I keep flooding, I'm sick of it. I want to put high wall plumbing in my basement, but I don't have the $15,000, $20,000 to strike a check right now. Great. We're going to try and come up with a funding solution so that homeowners, if they choose, can take advantage of the funding solution and try to make some of these improvements. Unfortunately, we keep seeing, the rain that hit yesterday was 2.6 inches in a 5-hour period. We had another one in the fall where it was even crazier. It was like 8 inches, right? Like 2.6 inches is the equivalent of almost 2.5 or 3 feet of snow falling in 5 hours, right? And it's the spring, the ground's already saturated. So I know I've heard we keep referencing a once in a 100-year storm and a once in a 25-year storm. Maybe I'm popular for saying this, but I do believe there might be such a thing as climate change that is going to make our rainstorms worse. The rainstorms are getting worse. The storms are getting worse. We're having more, and it's a fact, they're having more and more tornado warnings here, right? The climate that used to be a little bit southern is moving up because we're warmer here. So I don't see this problem with rain going away. I think we're going to continue to have once every 25-year rainstorms, maybe once a year. And those numbers are going to have to adjust. And so we are doing the studies to try and come up with the solutions as fast as possible. The accuracy, too. I want to know what the actual problem is. I just don't want to go throw a bunch of money into a problem that doesn't solve it. If there's something wrong with the sanitary system that the county is responsible for, I can promise you the county's going to fix it. No questions asked. The stormwater system, the responsibility of the townships, we have a stormwater department and a stormwater district that can help any of those areas do that, right? And so, unfortunately, the rain couldn't wait. We're probably going to be, when these studies are supposed to be coming out by April, we expect them by April 1st. We will then have a town hall meeting sometime in April or May, go back out to Painesville Township Park. I'll call the Metro Parks. We'll get that community room rented and booked up. And we will come out and relay the studies, explain what we think is going wrong. Here's the opportunities for improvements of what we could do. And if there's a solution for some funding mechanisms, then we'll roll those out as well. So I apologize for that long-winded answer,
That's okay.
but I just wanted to try and
So help me understand, how are we approving developments of those other homes being built then, when we don't even know that there's an infrastructure problem? First off. Second of all, I have a question about, what about the tax funding plan that was in 2017 to address the floods and the water and the development that it was going to occur in Painesville Township, right where we're at? $700,000 worth of money was there to do that, but also to accommodate future issues. What happened with that?
Was there a levy in 2017 or something? Do you know anything about this?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, I'll forward you the information on it. But it's
Is there a
just,
chance that might be, is that the stormwater?
Well, I can say that I think back in 2017, 2018 is when we initiated the project at the request of the township on the Fairway Pines
Right.
golf course property, and we did build that retention basin on that property.
right. And the extra, and there was funds accommodated in there as well to ensure future maintenance was going to
That,
occur with the bill. It's written right there
Yeah,
clearly.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
township may have, our township, or our stormwater funds can be utilized by the township for maintenance of that basin.
Okay.
But I'm not, I can't say for certain that it was sized for the rest of the development. The development that is currently going on between Blaze Nemeth and Bacon Road still has to have their stormwater controls constructed as part of their development. But the basin that was put in is to try to hold all that water back before it goes into Lake Erie Shores. And the basin, I know you guys are on Dupton, but that basin extends over towards the retention basin that is over near your pool area and the ball field and all that. And there's a ditch that runs along the tracks that we are looking at that as well, to try to see if we can get some of that flow into to the basin.
And I'm sorry, you're,
Tim Miller, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay,
with the stormwater department.
okay.
Yeah.
So that, those are my points, is that I think there's some disjoint here in regards to fairly looking at this situation, because, again, that $700,000 was to do that, as well as plenty of money, it states, to address how future maintenance is going to occur, so that any development happening, this was being addressed. Now, we've lived there since 1991, never had a flood problem, etc. Okay, we've had two now in less than 6 months. Having to spend over $20,000 because it was put onto, it's your responsibility. We'll accept that, okay? But no, we still flooded yesterday. Extremely horrible situation, let alone no other homeowners are here. So we can't buy time. And I feel like people have not addressed what was supposed to happen way back from when our area is going to get developed, because that was a developing area. So now we've bought homes. There's new people who've bought homes.
Mr. President,
we need to advertise that
if
fact.
you wouldn't mind speaking in the microphone,
I'm so
just
sorry.
so that it's available for the public and the record. I
I'm sorry.
apologize. Our assistant clerk was like, if you would just remind everyone to
Oh, I'm
use the
sorry.
mics, including you, Mr. Miller. It's just so that your neighbors can actually hear your presentation if they want to.
Oh, okay. So I guess my point is, I'm just saying, there's also new homeowners who've just bought the home. We need to advertise the fact of, why would you want to buy a home here? Plus, as I mentioned to you, I feel like we are an advertisement for basement authorities, all those plumbing people that came by, all the people that says you have to do your restoration, because it's our responsibility. But it's not all our responsibility, we feel. But that's why we're not experts, and we're going to seek that expertise, because we need somebody to speak on our behalf.
I will say the retention pond at, what was it, Fairway Pines, the old golf course, I think that was like an $800,000 job.
Yes.
So I don't know if that money was raised and then spent on that and then had future maintenance of the pond. I think is what the maintenance
Right.
that was built into that.
There's-
I don't know.
I don't know how it was spent. We don't know
800,000 was
that.
spent on the retention.
We don't know
Mr.
how it was
President,
spent.
So I'd just like to throw a couple of things. So I'll speak with sort of two hats. Former trustee, not in Painesville Township, but Concord. So I'm used to, as a township, working with the county and the various on these, and now obviously as a county commissioner. Commissioner Beveridge was correct in talking about everything, the sanitary, the differences between that and the stormwater, and Mr. Roethlisberger and Mr. Miller. So the townships and many of the entities in Lake County have these stormwater funds that allow them to go into the communities and do stormwater projects. The townships work hand in hand with stormwater department on that. This is probably the thing you're talking about. I don't want to speak to ongoing maintenance. I'm not sure, to what extent that was. We'll find that out. We will absolutely dig into that, and then I think we've made it clear that if there's something we need to do, it'll be done. And we're happy to work with the township on that issue. And as far as how do these things go, right? Systems are designed and so forth, and having been in yards in townships before and worked with Mr. Miller and in different aspects of sanitary systems with Mr. Roethlisberger in Concord Township, what you see is developments go in and time passes, and features that are built to deal with stormwater require maintenance, and on private property they're often not done, or as Mr. Beveridge said, there's people that I don't know why this ditch is here, and then they fill it in, or they don't like a swale on their property and they fill it in, and then it creates. So the maintenance of things, and as long as you've lived in your area and you see things come and go and change, that's sort of why well-designed systems, I don't want to know that it's fair to say fail, but they start to not perform the way they're supposed to, which creates these problems. To that end, we are looking at the stormwater aspect in this area, and we're doing to make sure that if there's something that needs to be done, we'll make sure that it is done, and we'll work with you. I think that is the bottom line here, and I do want to say that I hear loud and clear. We're doing the best we can, and I'll close by saying that I had a business in Willoughby that flooded 3 times. Twice was clean water, and the second time was sanitary, and so I feel your pain. I've experienced that problem. I've had to go through these as a private property owner and solve the problem as well. So please understand that I have empathy for your situation, and don't look at this dispassionately at all, and we're here to do as much as we can within the constraint of our authority.
We appreciate that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in.
I want to say something.
Sure.
I was talking to John. Originally, when our house was built, the sump pump was pushed into the stack of the sanitary and pushed through. So it was connected through the builder, which was okayed by an inspector through the county. Now, if mine is like that, I'm guessing that 90% of the houses in the Pines development is like that also. And that's probably half the issue. And if that is half the issue, then that's not a homeowner's responsibility. That should be your guys's, or the county's, maybe not you particularly, but or the county, to fix that issue.
First of all, we'd have to be able to inspect the houses. So
Then-
I know a lot of times that we have folks that.
Let's do it.
So, but yeah, I don't know the inspections. I don't know what went into that. So, but yes. If
I know
that's
you
an
don't know
opportunity-
that, but what I'm saying is it had to have been okayed. When a house is built, you have an inspector there to inspect the electric, to inspect the plumbing, to inspect the concrete, to inspect everything. Right? Right. So it was okayed. So if, like I said, if mine is built that way, I'm guessing 90% of them are built that way. So that means storm and sanitary are being pushed together in that development.
I just before we started the work session, I was talking with Mr. Roethlisberger about exactly that point, and I did ask the question. In the last 10 years, moved into new homes, and I asked the question about how that was approved and how would these be tied in if they're inspected and so forth. So I would respond in the sense that I think we would need to take a look at and try to find out. I mean, I think that is very good information. Thank you for sharing that, and it gives us something to look at. Unfortunately, I don't think we'd have an answer. Is that fair, Rand? We wouldn't have an answer to that now as to why that may or may not have happened, but I certainly think it's something that bears investigation, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else for our commissioners workshop? Okay, we will close off our commissioners workshop. Thank you.